Welcome, friends. Let me just get my live stream started on Facebook. I'll give everybody a minute. All right. Facebook Live and YouTube Live. What a great special occasion. And of course, my name is Suze, and this is going to be a special tribute edition of Sophia's Emporium. So, St. Louis's new police chief, John Hayden, Lutheran North alumni and friend. And I just thought it'd be a really beautiful thing to look at John's past, so I have my yearbooks. And we're just going to take a stroll down memory lane. Well, anyhow, this is John now. And then I'll go ahead and hold that picture up. And this is the Herald Magazine. This is a Lutheran High School Association publication, nurturing Christian hearts, building strong minds. And Lutheran North really was an incredible, blessed place to go to high school for most of us. And don't get me wrong, I had my hard times, but John was always a friend and always a stand-up guy. So, here we go. It's called Called to Serve. Lutheran North grad becomes chief of police. He has been described as having the toughest job in America by Newsweek magazine, but St. Louis Police Chief John Hayden Jr. doesn't worry about that. I care about what the Lord thinks about what I'm doing, said Hayden, a 1981 graduate of Lutheran High School North. When Hayden was appointed as St. Louis City's police commissioner last year, St. Louis had just been declared one of the most violent cities in the United States, with 205 homicides in 2017, the highest amount the city had seen since the 1990s. A St. Louis circuit judge had just found Jason Stockley, a white police officer, not guilty for the murder of Anthony Lamar Smith, an African American, and tensions were still high from the Michael Brown shooting. St. Louis is racially polarized, Hayden said in an interview at police headquarters. The only way change will come about is for people to not be okay with that. It shouldn't be okay. Hayden, a 31-year veteran on the force, says he lives by basic principles. Work hard and do unto others as you would have them do unto you. These are basic rules he was raised on while attending Lutheran North. Hayden played tight end for the Crusader football team and then went on to play at Washington University, where he majored in mathematics. Always attracted to law and order, Hayden attended St. Louis University's School of Law, but then decided God was calling him to a different line of work. I really think that police work is a ministry, said Hayden. I am not just interested in locking people up, but keeping people from getting locked up. Hayden commands a police department with more than 1,300 sworn officers. He is responsible for overseeing an annual budget of $170 million, a third of the city's budget. He has a master's degree in management from Fontbonne University. He also completed 15 hours of graduate coursework in theological studies at the Covenant Theological Seminary. Here's a picture of John in the gym at Lutheran High School North during a chapel service, which was the way that we always opened up every day of school. We had a short chapel, and they were generally very enriching. I would say that. Okay. Oh, and here's John's beautiful family. And I'm telling you what, John, I saw this daughter when I was at the Lutheran North homecoming. I mean, she's stunning. I believe I saw your other daughter too, but I sure do remember the one on the left with the tall hair. Okay. Prior to becoming police chief, Hayden was a commander in the North Patrol Division from 2013 through 2017. He previously served as the commander of the Internal Affairs Division, where he oversaw more than 1,200 investigations of employee misconduct. Throughout his career, he has been passionate about the pursuit of excellence in policing. While he was at the police academy, Hayden was responsible for teaching and developing training on ethics, a topic that is still one of his top priorities. Character is so important in leadership, Lutheran North Principal Tim Brackman said. He is a man of character. We are fortunate to have a man of God in that leadership position. You can quote John saying, Lutheran North prepared me for rigorous academic challenges. It prepared me for any job. I have to agree, John. I didn't go on to college, but Lutheran North did prepare me for every job and every aspect of my career. So, confirmation of spirit. All right. St. Louis has recorded more than 104 homicides this year. Hayden hopes to keep that number down as to not reach the levels of last year. He plans to accomplish this through his leadership, by following the rules and by being present. The Lord called me to a certain kind of ministry, Hayden said. I believe that. Hayden has 3 daughters. His youngest, Kaylin, is a senior at Lutheran North. He can often be found cheering in the stands at basketball games and has been a speaker at chapel, encouraging students to make positive impact in their communities. He doesn't avoid public places when he is off duty. Hayden can remember eating out years ago and bouncing his daughter on his knee when a man he had previously arrested walked into the restaurant. Some officers would worry, not Hayden. He said he does his job fairly and it helps to have God on his side. If I'm handling my job in any way pleasing to the Lord, he said, he will have my back. All right, John. I 100% agree. Just beautiful. All right. So I got the yearbooks, Mr. Hayden. I know you remember me. You know, a lot of people think that my stories are outlandish, but I know you know me and remember me. Lutheran North was a very small campus. Altogether, we had no more than 450 within the 4 classes of high school. So we did say hi to one another in the halls. We are the children that were affected by forced desegregation. We're the kids that got along together. We're the kids that didn't see color. And then we were blessed to wind up in a community like Lutheran North. So right here, what you're seeing, this picture to my left, would be the campus of Lutheran North. I thought that was a nice picture. Now, surely I remember how to go to something else later on, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. Okay, so John graduated in 1981, and I have those pictures tagged, you know, where we're going to go in the yearbook. And then, of course, this would be, I mean, I was a freshman in 79, so John would have been a sophomore, and that's why I have 3 yearbooks starting in 1979. All right, senior year, John, getting the time travel machine with me, right? And You know, when I started looking at these pictures again, I was like, oh yes, I do remember Mr. Suave being on homecoming court and being a musical player. Lutheran North was big into theatrical productions. I mean, this is back when the kids built the stages. I mean, we truly had teachers that really got into this stuff. And for us, homecoming was a big deal because it brought community together. So let me get this up here for you. All right, there we go. Okay. So here's John on homecoming court. There's a nice picture of Mr. Hayden. I mean, Chief, sir. There you go. There's John. And I would say that this right here, and he would be playing, I guess, the trumpet. You'll have to let me know one of these days, John. I sure do hope we can get together and talk. I don't know if you remember, but my dad was Assistant Chief of Police of Belridge, so I am one of those people that has seen behind the scenes in your world. And of course, I'm so proud to have a good man like you in there. It just made my heart smile when I read the article yesterday. And oh my goodness, John, the article from Lutheran North didn't mention you had the most sex appeal too. Now in the meantime, I did not show those pictures of John to this phone, so I'm gonna have to make sure to double down on this next one. I'm gonna show them first. Look at John standing there all cool next to Jill Noby on the piano. Most sex appeal. Hey, John, I know you won't mind if we get in there and show Tim Tripp too, because I believe he's a police officer here in St. Louis. I think I'm on the right story. Okay. Let's see. Did I show you guys? Look, it's so hard to work both cameras and remember to show everybody. All right. There's John Hayden. See, most sex appeal. Now he's the chief with the mostest, and he's got the gospel truth, and he is going to be on a mission. And we do have revival that is destined for the state of Missouri. Not only because we're a divided state, there's so much more. And we'll do it from here. This will be one outpost. Hey, John. You know what I'm curious about? Did you ever hear Michael Jackson sing acoustic music? I don't remember hearing Michael Jackson sing acoustic music, but I thought it would be nice to play this music for you. Okay, so this is the article when we won the 3A state championship. Yeah, this is the year. Let me just double check myself. Well, wait a second. 1981. You gotta be here. Okay. I think I just lost myself in the tunnel of time, but that can't be, because John Hayden is right here. I am not going to trip out. Okay. The coaches were Mike Russell, Carl Holshin. The managers were Peter and Paul Fackler. The team was Anton Ivy, Jim Klein, John Grubbs, Jimmy Williams, Chuck Simmons, Kevin Randall, Phil Cole, Bobby Edmonds, Keith Randall, Darrell Jones, Thomas Rooks, Greg Jacobsmeyer, Carl Klein, Jeff James, Mike Stringer, John Krameyer, Steve Borgman, Edsel Tangeman, Philip Brown, Darrell Watkins, Eric Swires, Fred Steiner, Brian Lay, Kurt Klotzer, Mark Remsbecker, Matt Huning, Terrence Clay, Robert Walker, Craig Spith, Don Borgman, and last but not least, John Hayden. Says Crusaders start season out right. This year's varsity football Crusaders will again experience an excellent season. This fact is apparent by their record of wins. This year's team, coached by Mr. Mike Russell and Mr. Carl Holshen, have a good chance of returning to the state championships. The season opener against the Jennings Warriors put the first feather in the Crusaders' cap. Then they played the Waynesville Tigers, who lost to the mighty Crusaders with a score of 13-9. The next victim in North was the Mercy Bulldogs, who lost with a final score of 37-7. Then Rosary was defeated by North by 47-6 as a final score. Next, Lutheran North met head-to-head with number 3 ranked John Burroughs. The Crusaders kept a constant lead against Burroughs, with touchdowns from Bobby Edmonds and Kevin Randall. The final score, 37-23 in favor of North. Then North faced off against Country Day. The Crusaders had been defeated by Country Day the last 15 matches that they played. But this year, North was going to change this record by defeating Cadasco with a final score of 27-16. These are but a few of North's games this year. They must also match up against Principia, Priory, and Lutheran South. All in all, this year's varsity football team has all the qualities needed to make this North's best team and experience North's best season ever. Indications thus are directing this team straight to the state finals to make another showing. But right now, the Crusaders are taking one day at a time and accepting their wins with a level-headed attitude that designates that they are truly champions. So, in 1982, the football team did go on to become the 3A state champs. That was our senior year. Okay. So, we would be in John's junior year now, reviewing his life. Okay, John. You know, there's only one guy you could be, and I think this is you. Hang on a second. Let me put the book up. It'd be this guy right here standing in the hall with his head down in a long tie and his arms on his waist. Okay, let me turn this around. That lower picture there by the musical note, that'd be John's junior year. And this would be during Spirit Week, the Spirit of North. And then here we have the football team again. And they said, "Ain't no stopping us now." And of course, football, well, Lutheran North is a huge sports high school, along with academics, no doubt. Okay. Mr. Hayden, junior year, 1981, buddy. Right? You know, turning it all around and working like this. There you go. There you are. Beautiful smile. Kind face. Noble heart. Okay. Let me get this in here. Come on, Suze. Oh, come on. This is tough. There's John. Right there. Now, I don't know if I ever told y'all or not, but I was a cheerleader at Lutheran North, so we were bonded through the years. We were definitely cheering for those guys. Alright. Let's see. 1979. John's sophomore year, my freshman year. And of course, he would be in what they call B football then, which is one level under varsity. Duh. And then here is John's sophomore picture coming right up. There he is between those two beautiful women. See him right there? Okay. Bring it up here. And get my hands out of the way. Get that up there. There's John. Let me come back. Alright, you see, he's between the two girls. I keep trying to take him out of the picture and bringing him up. There he is, bottom right corner. Police Chief John Hayden. I mean, when he was a teenager, right? Let's look at some pictures. If I can figure out how to do that. There we go. I really don't want to move my tripod. It's been the best $10 I ever spent. I'm just going to show you a few pictures of me in high school real quick. There's our homecoming court. And of course, there I am on the far left. Right there. And this is my buddy Jackie. And Miss Lori Prentice was the homecoming queen. And there's Terry Shalley and Joda Covey. Believe it or not, Terry and the love of her life, Carl Klein, they started dating in high school, were always true blue to each other, got married, and I think they have 5 or 6 kids. And recently, in the last couple years, their oldest daughter got married. And yeah, she had started dating that boy when she was 15 or 16. I mean, there's people that actually do have those kind of tight experiences. This is always funny. So, you know what this is. This is one of those silly hat dances. There we go. So here's the hat dance, right? And of course, they've got the shirts around their hips. And then, you know, people wear their pants like that these days, but that's neither here nor there. I just thought that'd be funny to bring up. Okay. That would be variety show. Spirit Week, before homecoming. Anybody remember these things? I know it's not like that anymore. Whatever. Okay. Here's my buddy Lois Gornett. Now Lois and I were locker buddies, which means that we were right on, you know, we were neighbors. Lois was on my left, and Troy Gassler was on my right. Everything was alphabetized. I'm Glasscock. This is Gornet, and Gornet's got my little homecoming crown on there. I had got put last place on homecoming court because I was caught with an unlit cigarette in the bathroom. So, I got put last place on court, got to cheer for football, got my rights taken away for basketball. Ah, the drama of high school, huh? I've been taking shit since pimpin's been pimpin'. You kidding? But at least Lutheran North really had some great teachers. So in this video I tagged our guidance counselor, Michael Prang. He was my softball coach. He was a really great counselor. Back then they actually consulted with you and talked about deep matters. It wasn't all pushing you at one particular thing. Mike Prang was always for the underdog, and so am I. And so I am really looking forward to seeing what John Hayden does with the underdogs of St. Louis, because I'll tell you what, we've been getting a bad rap for years, and I hope that John realizes that this is the home of what they call the Manhattan Project and all the MK Ultra mind control programs, and we're a medical experiment. That's why people are angry, John, and then they're trying to divide us. It's all social engineered. They had it pre-planned. They say they wanted to see how we'd react to getting pushed to the edge, and I think we have strong enough values to take them to the wall. All right. There I am with my escort to homecoming, and that's Mark Bowder. Really good friend. Yeah, we were all friends at school. Unbelievable, right? Now, let me show you one of my best friends. I always called him George. You know, hi George, how you doing? This is Liddell George, and the proper way to say it was Liddell, not Liddell. But Liddell was the sharpest dresser in our senior year. Of course, this guy gets best dressed, but we got in trouble together freshman year, and we became this team that united both sides, I'd say. We had mission work together. Okay. Here's the old diploma. See, I actually did graduate from high school. A lot of people like to give me shit because I know these things that I should have had to learn in college or in some crazy book I never read. But, you know, one thing about Lutheran North, especially during those days, it gave you a background to where you would thrive educating your own self, having a faith, and it doesn't have to be religious, but it's a faith in knowing who you are and where you're going in this life. So when I was in high school, my favorite 4 subjects were speech, business organization, sociology, and art. And so Mr. Prang had me do the high school sophomore business fair at the Machinist Hall off of the Rock Road in St. Louis for many years. And I did a flow chart to show people how if you do what you love in high school, I mean, you know, what you're interested in on any level, and you develop it, you can take it into your technical training. It may follow you into your job. It can surely follow you into your career. And with business organization and secretarial skills, it becomes quite easy at 21 years old to have the belief that yes, you can run a small business. So I'm always and forever grateful for my education at Lutheran North, and well worth it. And I'll always have their back when it comes to doing a nice story. I think it's a shame that everybody has to be college prep now, or it's not good enough. That would be one thing if I could say to Lutheran North, to get back into the trades being part of the curriculum, and the kids very well may want to learn. Okay, this is me this summer that ended my freshman year. Looks like some shit got on my picture, doesn't it? But you can see that my hair color is pretty much basically the same. Can you imagine how many times I got called a rotten name because I had red hair? Whatever. Alright, there's my beauty school picture, and that is color-treated red hair and a bad perm and a bad haircut. So I went from high school, graduated in '82, to beauty school. And something I always remember is that at Lutheran North, I had never heard the word cocaine or the word AIDS. Neither one. And by the time I got to beauty school, it took about a month. And then I knew those words. So, talk about innocent. And the Midwest and Lutheran North was a very safe place to develop and grow up. Alright, so here we are on that old Santa Claus's lap, right? Of course, there's your buddy Suze, my buddy Becky Kless, and Lynn Grenard. We were those naughty cheerleaders. Like to drink a little bit, like to smoke a little bit. Now, here's my best friend, Tammy Moorfield. Her name is Tamra Lucero now. But that was my buddy from Baden. And I told the story, John. I don't know if you know this or not, but Tammy was always dealing with racial chaos, let's say. So she had a mixed cousin that went to River Road School, and the kids just always were trying to beat her up because they hadn't seen a biracial child at that time. I mean, that was a long time ago, right? Okay, that's the end of that. Oh, no, one more. Okay. Here's my 82, the one on my jacket, when you're a jock. Somebody asked Channer tonight what was his favorite sport. I knew that was a loaded question. But for whoever asked that question, my favorite sport is softball, followed by soccer. I also enjoy bowling, and this is my chameleon that was hanging out with me. You can tell I wasn't in a very good mood that night. And I'll tell you why. Because this dress I'm wearing right here was involved in a bad story with a teacher at Lutheran North that said, women, can't live with them, can't live without them. Well, me and this guy were breaking up, and I needed to go to the bathroom. He thought I wanted to go smoke. I was actually bleeding, having my period. So that's always those things that we remember from high school. And I remember John Hayden fondly, and I'm sure that when he sees this, he will no doubt get a kick out of his buddy Suze. And that'd be Susie Glasscock from Lutheran North. So that's the end of this deal. And I will be back with more action, hopefully sooner than later. So anyhow, peace, love, and light from the Big Yellow House on the Third Cosmic Ray in Ferguson, Missouri. Thank you. Bye. If you end this live video now, well, sure, we're ending it now.